freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your round two recap for this week's John Deere Classic. Joining me to break it all down, Kyle Porter is here. KP,
we're back. We're back together. My wife tuned in for like 2.5 minutes to the CBS Sports Network show. She's like, "Oh, you and Rick, great together." Like,
oh,
been trying to tell you. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Now maybe next time she'll tune in for 3 minutes, then 3.5. We'll work her up there. That's great.
She's juicing the numbers.
Yes. Listen, much appreciated. Just turn it on, leave it on, walk away. I don't care. All right. Well, KP, we did a live show this afternoon, and there was a lot happening. Most of that has been settled in round number 2. There are still a couple of guys out on the golf course, including a couple who could change what this lead is, but let's get it out in the morning wave and hit some of the notables. We'll start with Aaron Rai. Aaron Rai was popular in a lot of different formats for this week. Aaron Rai was playing great coming in. Aaron Rai is your one and done selection, my one and done selection, and Greg's one and done selection. He went out in 33. He came in 30, a bogey-free 63, and the good times continue for Mr. Rai.
Yeah, they do. The statistical profile I don't love so far, but what I do love, and this is what I loved coming into this week, Rick, is just the idea of somebody staying hot but not like emptying the tank last week, right? He was not the leader like over the last 7 holes, and he didn't have to. There's when you're really in it over the last 6 or 7 holes, and you're trying to fend people off and whatever, that's taxing. And he didn't have to do that. So I love the guys that are kind of, we've seen this so many times, right? Building toward a win, and then they snap off the win. I don't know if that means it's going to happen this week, but I loved that about him coming in, and I still like it, even though the profile is like, I think he's leading the field in putting. Yeah, he's number 1 in putting, which is a little concerning, but overall, I'm like good with where he's at.
I don't know if it's concerning because he's a horrible putter. That concerns me, but he's been putting well recently. So I don't know. It is a weird thing. I agree with you. I'm not super confident. I will be cautiously optimistic heading into the weekend with Aaron Rai currently tied for the lead, but that might change. Speaking of guys who are trending in the right direction, how about Davis Thompson? He's been putting together great finishes. He went out and shot a 4 under 67. That was really top heavy towards the front of this round here. He made the turn in 33 and he eagled number 2, his 11th hole of the day. He did give a couple back coming in, but I think that this is a position that Davis Thompson would be happy to be in after 36.
Yeah, a little bit of a theme today, guys, given a few back coming in. Luke Clanton did that as well. But yeah, I mean, you know, we talked extensively about Davis Thompson on our show earlier, but he's I think he's probably a higher ceiling guy than maybe people realize. He's a really good player. He's like top 35 guy on Data Golf and has been playing. I mean, he finished top 10 at the U.S. Open. How many people that watched the U.S. Open know that Davis Thompson finished in the top 10? It's pretty remarkable. So he I don't know what his odds are now. I know what they were earlier, but I'm if it's like 12 or so to 1. I'm in on that. I think that could be super interesting.
Okay, well, that's a good tease. We'll get to that at the end of the show. There's a lot of guys at the top of this board who are looking for their first career PGA Tour win. Aaron Rai is up there. Eric Cole, Davis Thompson, Denny McCarthy. We could talk about Luke Clanton in a second, but the guy who is currently tied at 14 under par, CT Pan, he's already got one. He won what year do you think that was, the RBC Heritage?
Oh, it had to be 2019.
That is correct. A one-shot victory over Matt Kuchar in 2019. And boy, he had a fun morning. Out in 31, he birdies 11, 12, and eagles 14. We talked about this a little bit on the network, KP. It's just tough when you have the skill set of CT Pan and a lot of courses already box you out. So when you get a course that has historically rewarded accuracy, he must be licking his chops, and licking his chops he is.
For sure. You know, he he just doesn't historically gain a lot of strokes off the tee, and he is this week. And you're like, okay, this is. I mean, obviously, the lead up to 36, you have to putt it pretty well, but I think you're getting a like an example of what CT Payne can be if he could gain strokes off the tee. You know, it's just such an uphill. I mean, it's kind of like you know, one of us playing where it's like, man, if I could just get off the tee, I'd be okay. And I mean, it's obviously very different at the professional level, but that has to kind of be what it feels like for him, right? Like the rest of his game is pretty solid. Like he's been a good pro for 5, 6, 7 years now, and it's just got to be frustrating that it's distance that holds him back. But at a place like this, you can contend.
Yeah, for sure, and make the most out of those starts that you can contend. Making the most out of few starts is what Luke Clanton is up to, because he's only made a handful, and he has been in the mix each of the last 2 weeks. He was one of the low AMs. I think he finished second to Neil Shipley at the U.S. Open. Is that right?
Sounds right.
For low am, and he shot a 4 under 67, and this is what you were referring to. So highlights on the front nine, which is the back nine of the golf course, include an eagle on 14. He goes out in 4 under, makes a pretty sloppy double at number 6, one of his final holes of the day, does get both of them back with birdies on 7 and 8, which I thought was had some gumption to it. And he posts a 12 under total, which at this exact moment is 2 shots off the lead.
Did you see his quote on the 2 birdies coming in?
I don't think I did.
So he was I'll just direct quote it here. He said, "Can you tell me about the double at 6? Yeah, it was just fun. It was a blast, honestly." Presume he's being sarcastic there.
I wish he wasn't.
That'd be sick. I mean, we hadn't really made a mistake all week and made one tiny mistake and made double. I knew it was all right. Gonna make birdie no matter what. Okay. So the next follow-up question, you knew you were going to make birdie? I knew I was going to make birdie. Now you're sounding cocky. He had gotten, that's a reference to, there was a question earlier about how he does often sound very confident. I knew it. I knew after I got that double, I said to myself, we ain't finishing at 10 under. We're going to finish at 12. So
he's also the one who said that 20 guys in college could win on the PGA Tour. He is brimming with confidence. I love it.
I'm into it. Like, you know, I think one thing that we bemoan out here sometimes is not enough personality. And so when a guy is, I'm not gonna kill him for talking like that. I think it's fantastic. It's great for us. It's good for the tour. Yeah, I'm into it. I hope he wins this week. I think it'd be awesome.
It would be insane to have another amateur win.
I know. It would have been 33 years and then like not even 33 weeks.
I would love it if it was 33 years, then 33 tournaments or something like that.
Yeah. Maybe it is with the alternate or with the.
Yeah, we'll have to go look it up. I don't know if we'll get there. Just wait a couple more weeks, Luke. Then. Just a quick note: Sepp Straka, our defending champion, he is in at 5 under par. That is going to be the cut number, so he'll make the weekend, but he is unlikely to contend. We are going to turn our attention to the afternoon wave. We've got some rounds that have already finished up, and then we've got a couple guys out on the golf course that could shake up the top of the leaderboard. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
Do you think you can name all the teams in the Big 12 in the Big 10?
Okay. I love that. That's such just like a perfect question for so many reasons. Number one,
I have no chance.
Half the listening audience will have no idea what you're referring to because they will watch this or listen to this in podcast form and not see that ad that we just read, which was like a college football promo. So that right there is hilarious that we just come out of break and you immediately ask if I can name all the teams in the Big Ten. I don't even know if I could tell you how many teams are in the Big Ten.
I can't. I definitely can't. I think there was 14 in last year's Big Ten.
When
And you could tell me that I'll say 18, but there could be 20, there could be 22. I have no idea.
So when I gave up trying to keep track of anything when the Big Ten had 12 teams and the Big 12 had 10 teams. When that happened, I couldn't do it anymore.
It's the Jerry Seinfeld. I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. I could tell you in the Big Ten, and these, I don't know if these are right or not, but I can only think of like the ones that maybe from like a decade ago. So I'm like Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan State. I feel like Maryland might be lurking somewhere in there. Is that right?
They are. Yeah.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Illinois.
Yeah. Iowa.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Then you've got, it gets weird because it's like,
I have one. Is Nebraska in it?
Nebraska is in it.
Okay.
Minnesota's in it.
Okay.
Rutgers, which is real weird.
Okay. Yeah.
But then the ones that I get, I just don't know. Like they added Oregon.
Wow. Is that since when?
Just like 5 days ago.
Okay.
I think July 1st is the new fiscal year for all these conferences.
See, I cannot imagine a world in which Oregon is not in the pack, whatever number you want to call it.
I don't think it exists anymore.
What? The Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore?
No.
All those teams just dispersed?
Arizona State, Utah, and somebody else are in the Big 12. Oregon State and Stanford don't have a conference.
See, that's another interesting thing too. I'm surprised more.
Stanford's in the ACC? What?
That's disgusting. That's sad. I'm sad about that.
How Stanford former ACC great Michael Thorbjornsen is making a run at 59 here, by the way.
Here's the other problem. If you're going to do this, you cannot be called the Atlantic Coast Conference and have Stanford and Cal in your conference. You can't.
It's nonsense. I mean, that's the same thing as having 14 teams in the Big 12 or what? I don't know. Whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what there are.
Hold on. Okay. So the Big 10 conference. Did we
18
miss
in the Big 10? I got that.
Washington.
Yeah.
USC, UCLA.
Yeah.
Purdue.
We missed Purdue.
And Oregon. Yeah. Those are the, I guess those Western ones are the new ones.
I love that Josh is just feeding us this information. Like two idiots talking on a golf podcast about Big Ten teams.
I'm actually surprised. And I guess maybe you have to have enough cachet to pull this off. And I guess there's a lot of good reasons to be in a conference, but I thought we were just going to see everybody go to like, I'm not in I'm just an independent.
Well, but they get TV money, right? Like that's the reason to be in a conference is if you're North Carolina State, you get Clemson's TV money.
Yeah. And you couldn't possibly go out by yourself.
Yeah. And so it's like, well, I mean, there are teams that could maybe pull it up, but I think Texas and like the Longhorn Network kind of proves like that's a little more difficult. It's like the unbundling thing. Sounds great. Then once you do it, you're like, I don't know if this was the best idea ever.
I basically just have cable again, but I'm paying 14 different providers instead of one.
Exactly. And so it just the independent thing is very, very difficult.
Boy. Okay. Well, the afternoon wave. Speaking of Texas Longhorns, Jordan Spieth, who opened a 2 under 69. That was not good enough. He followed up with a 4 under 67, and he will indeed make the weekend out in 31 in an even par 36 KP. Yeah, it's cool. I'm glad we're going to see him on the weekend. Maybe he'll do something fun. He'll have an early tee time on Saturday, but we should not be talking about Jordan Spieth. Hey, he made the cut. Cool. We're very happy for him because he is very far from where he needs to be in the FedEx Cup standings.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you said this very well on our live show earlier, and I thought it was a great point of basically exactly what you just said now. Like, cool, we're talking about Spieth, but we're talking about him in a context that we should be talking about Brendan Todd or
Neil Shipley,
Rico Hoey, you know, like a number of different guys that are actually in this field, but we're filling that with Spieth, and you're like, well, that's not that's just below what he should be. I think the only redeeming thing, I was just writing this actually for CBSSports.com, is you've got the Open in 2 weeks, and maybe he finds something this weekend. He's obviously not going to win this golf tournament, but watch him go shoot 61. But I'm hopeful that he can go find something and go play well at the Open. Like, that's where he's so fun. He's so awesome there, and I'd love to see him have a good Open Championship. He did gain a stroke and a half approach today, which is way better than it's been.
Yeah, let's go for 2 in a row tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. The maybe one of the best rounds in the afternoon was Sungjae Im. 7 under 64, just one bogey on the card. That came on 15. Otherwise, he just was piling up birdies. When we did that live show earlier, he was just teeing off. He was 33-1. Spoiler alert, he's 7-1 right now. So he's 2 shots off the current pace. Sungjae, this is kind of interesting too. You know, I give Sungjae a pass for a lot. He's been around, is this his like 5th year on the PGA Tour?
No, got to be more than that, right?
Okay, so let's say it's at least his 5th year. He only has 2 wins. I think he's better than that. One of them was a Honda early. That was like that was 2020, I think. And then he won in Vegas. I think much higher of Sungjae than just being 2 out of however many 100 tournaments he's played.
Yeah, and his numbers would back you up. I mean, he's a 1.2, 1.7, 1.5 strokes gain guy. That guy should be winning once a year-ish, probably on average once a year, something like that. This is his 6th year on the PGA Tour, +1 on the Korn Ferry, and he's just turned 26, which is crazy.
This is event number 174 for him.
Okay.
He has a 25% top 10 rate, which is, I think that's great, right? Quarter of your tournaments, you finish inside the top 10.
So good. I bet I would actually be interested. What'd you say? 170?
This is 174. So he's at 173 right now.
That seems like a Xander range. I wonder what Xander's top 10 rate. Obviously, Xander's win rate is like way above Sungjae, but I would be interested to see his top 10 rate and compare, like, okay, this is the same guy when it comes to top 10s, but Xander wins a lot more.
Xander's played 5 more events, so good call. So Sungjae's at 173, Xander's at 178. Sungjae has 42 out of 173, so 24%. Xander is 61 out of 178, 34%. Xander's won 8 out of 178, which is a little over 4%, and that probably does not count a couple of his wins because And then Sungjae is at just over 1%. So Xander wins 4 times as much and finishes inside the top 10 just like 1.2 times as much.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of what I was getting at is Xander's obviously a better golfer. I'm not trying to compare them as golfers, but the top 10s and the wins are just a little bit disproportionate to what you would think they should be for somebody of like at Sungjae's level. So, but great call by you. Yeah, I mean, you said this on our live show. You said, hey, Sungjae's kind of live. I'd love him at, what was he at?
33.
Yeah, that was great because now he's 2 back. He might be a little further than that going into the weekend, but yeah, he can go get it. I mean, he's fantastic.
Yeah, he might be farther back, but we've been kind of stuck on this 14 under number for a while. So here's what's going on right now. Michael Thorbjornsen, as KP alluded to, has gotten scorching hot. He birdied his first 4 holes. He turned in 5 under and had another birdie streak on holes 2, 3, and 4, his 11th, 12th, and 13th holes of the day. He is 8 under par through 14, and he's sitting in the fairway on the 6th hole. So he's at 12 under. This is another example. Throw him in with, he's a year behind Ludwig with the PGA Tour U stuff. Throw him in with Clanton. Throw him in with Shipley. These guys are making a ton of noise.
Yeah. Yeah, he's was he number 1 in the Wagger when he I think he was like top 2 or 3. Clanton's number 3. I mean, I think sometimes you throw amateur out there and it's like, oh, that's crazy. Well, yeah. Also, they're like top 5 amateurs in the world. It's the category that portends to being really good at the professional level. So he's interesting. I know he had some injury stuff. I think it was end of last year, or maybe into this year a little bit. So it's good to see him healthy. And I mean, he almost won the Travelers last year, or was that 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago, 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Producer Josh wants to know, does Thorbjornsen, we need a nickname for him because I can't say his name. Does he win before the John Deere next year on the PGA Tour?
So he was number 1 in PGA Tour U, so he's going to have a full card. Rest of this year, all of next year. I always hate doing this because I feel like it's such a wet blanket, but my answer to these questions is always just no.
I know.
So he might, even if he played. So even if you said, okay, does he win at any point in his next 30 starts? Basically every guy on tour, I'm going to say no to.
Yep. There's like 7 guys you wouldn't say no to.
Correct. So unless he's one of those 7, I'm going to say no. I think he projects really well. I think the way I do worry about a little of the injury stuff if he starts playing a lot, or maybe I don't know if it's chronic or whatever, but I do think he projects really well. I think that he's going to be in the mix a lot. I think he's ready. We talk a lot about how Nick Dunlap got thrown into being a professional. Michael Thorbjornsen got he took the steps that were kind of laid out, and I think it's probably a much more solid foundation. So yeah, I'm very bullish, but no, I would say he doesn't win.
I would say no, but if you gave me 2 years, I would say yes. He's a full 2 years younger than Ludwig, which I get pretty fired up when guys are in that 20, 21, 20 up to 22 range, where you're like, man, that's really like that's young. It's when you start talking about Ludwig and Victor and guys like that, where they're out there 24, 25, that's still incredibly young for like the common trajectory. But man, 21, 22 is like, that's different, And so I think that just that and the pedigree, he won the US Junior Am in 2018. I'm pumped about him just to see what he can do.
You know how in the World Baseball Classic, you can play for the team that country you were born in. And I think you can play for the teams that your parents and grandparents were born in.
Yeah, I think that's right. That's how you end up with guys on like Israel that were born in like Florida.
Correct. Yes, exactly right. Can you do that for the Olympics in golf? Like, how did Rory Sabatini?
If you're Rory Sabatini, yeah, exactly.
So his dad is Norwegian. His mom is from Zimbabwe.
Thorbjornsen. I can't just nickname him, please. I can't do it. Yeah. His dad's Norwegian and his mom is from Zimbabwe.
That's right.
So would he fit? Who's number 2 behind Victor in Norway?
I think his name's Christopher Krogh. Oh, it might be Ventura. Yes, I think it is Ventura. There's 2 Christophers. Christopher Krogh, I think, was 3rd. I think Ventura is the one who got in.
Okay, so he would probably be. Ventura might be ahead of him.
Yeah, because it's based on OWGR points, and
yeah, he doesn't have any.
At least Ventura is playing professional golf on tours that give him world golf points.
Zimbabwe would be interesting though.
It would be sick. Who are the best golfers ever? How many?
Wasn't Nick Price Zimbabwe?
Oh,
I think he was.
You want to know how many golf courses there are in Zimbabwe?
I did. That's not a question I thought I would hear when I woke up this morning. 150. I don't know.
So I will tell you, it is a country with a population of 16 million.
Oh gosh, that's way bigger than that's okay. I'm way off then.
Hold on. Don't doubt yourself. Land area, 60th largest country in the world. That's way bigger than I thought.
I wonder how it compares to like Texas. Everything is like just okay. Where is it in relation to Texas? You know what kills me about
in Texas? It's Texas is 270,000 square miles.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at kilometers. Texas is about twice as big as Zimbabwe.
Okay. Have you ever seen Texas next to Alaska?
Yeah. And then sometimes when they just like overlay Texas on Europe or something like that.
But Alaska is like,
yeah,
twice as big.
It's insane.
It's nuts. And I think sometimes because of the curvature, shout out to Kyrie, it makes it look like smaller than it actually is. And then you put it next to Texas, and we'll drive we'll drive to Colorado for summer vacation. You can drive from one end of Texas to the other and be in the state the whole day. It's nuts. And then you're like, throw it up next to Alaska, and you're like, oh, it looks small.
Besides Canada and Mexico, do you know the closest country to the United States?
The closest country to the United States?
That's
Is it Zimbabwe?
It's not Zimbabwe.
Okay. Canada, Mexico. Is it oh, it's Russia.
Yes, nicely done. Yeah, it's like right up there next to Alaska. But everybody's like, Cuba or Dominican or something like that. So there are only 50 golf courses in Zimbabwe, by the way.
50?
50.
That seems impossible.
According to the internet, which we know everything is true, there's only 50 golf courses.
That's wild.
Yeah. Our overnight leader, our man who shot the 59. You know what they say, KP?
It's hard to back up a 59.
It's really, really hard to back up a 59. And he is Hayden Springer and learning that lesson right now. He has made 2 bogeys, including in addition to a double that he just made on number 6 right now. He is even par. Started at 12 under, stuck at 12 under. So we are still holding strong at 14 under being at 36 holy. We have not been able to break through it. Thorbjornsen and Springer are both now 2 shots off of it. So it's getting very convoluted at the top.
Yeah, it really is. I'm a little, that's a bummer for Hayden Springer because yeah, just that double. Like he could have really kind of sneaked up there, and not sneaked up there, but had like an okay round and been at 15, 16, and then you're not in control, but you're at least like, hey, I gave myself a shot to win. By the way, best golfers from Zimbabwe, Nick Price, number 1, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then you would go Brendan de Jong, maybe 2.
Sure.
Tony Johnston, back in he's a European tour. He won 25 times professionally.
Wow.
Yeah, so maybe he's number 2 ahead of de Jong. But then don't forget live superstar Scott Vincent.
Well, then also don't forget his brother Kieran Vincent.
Both live superstars, yes.
Wow.
So there you go.
Name one country that Zimbabwe touches.
Oh, Mark McNulty too. He won 59 times professionally. One country that Zimbabwe touches. I mean, I
literally, I could not have gotten any of these.
Kenya.
No.
Okay.
It's not the worst guess. The only one that you could have maybe just said that would have been right was South Africa. There is like a little tiny part that touches it, but we're talking about Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia. I wouldn't have gotten any of those.
What an insane conversation.
Josh, what do those odds look like? Thank you kindly. Aaron Rai holding strong. 6 hours ago, he was plus 350. Now he's plus 400 to win his very first PGA Tour event. Sungjae Im, 7.5 to 1. Davis Thompson, Denny McCarthy are 10 to 1. CT Pan is 11. Luke Clanton, the AM, 13 to 1. Eric Cole, who struggled here on Friday. Still, though, just 2 shots back thanks to that lead not getting extended on him, is 16 to 1. And Harry Hall is 20 to 1.
Yeah, a great call by you on the Sungjae thing. He was, like you said, I think 30, 33, something like that. So now he's plus 750. I guess Davis Thompson at 10. I don't really love any. I mean, it's just such a hard course to prognosticate, right? Because you have, what is this, 25 guys within 4. So any of them could win. Anybody could go shoot 62 tomorrow.
27 now. Yeah.
Yeah. Keith Mitchell's at 10. Okay. He could shoot 60 on Saturday. It's just, if you're giving me, I'd rather go further down the list and find somebody that I think could get super hot that's hitting it well. Like let's see here. Like a Keith Mitchell, honestly.
It's 40 to 1. Thorbjornsen just made bogey.
Okay, give me Keith Mitchell at 40 over these guys. It's just, and it's not a shot. It's not a knock at these guys. It's just so hard when it's so bunched up.
I agree with you. I have a pre-tournament Davis Thompson ticket. Both of us would love for Aaron Rai to win, but this could look, do you know how different the leaderboard looked yesterday? And just,
I know.
It is going to be chaos tomorrow. It feels like we're not close enough to the finish line to be looking at these numbers.
Yep. 6. There was 13 guys that shot 6 under or better today.
Yeah. I mean, it's out there.
Yeah. So, I do. Somebody at the top is going to protect. I think it will be Rai. Like, I think you said this earlier, but he feels trustworthy in terms of, like, he's not going to go shoot 72.
Yeah. For no reason at all. I trust him.
That's my favorite.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think we hit,
covered the globe.
Yeah, we covered it all. We had hit for the cycle. I'm going to the Rangers game tomorrow.
Oh, that's sick. Who are they playing?
Very excited. They're playing the Rays. My buddy got his company has like a suite type. It'll be very cool.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, that's cool. I love it. All right, well, we'll be back on Saturday night to get you all the information you need, plus Sunday as well. Big thanks to producer Josh, does all the hard work behind the scenes. That's Kyle Porter. You can find him at Kyle Porter CBS, and you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.